My name is Justin Leedy. I live in Idaho, but my father was in the Coast Guard, so throughout childhood we moved from military base to military base in southeast Alaska. And during that time, my family and I would go to Mass every Sunday, we'd pray the rosary together, and go to confession every month. But as I got older, like so many of my peers, I lost interest in the faith. By the time I went to college, I had stopped going to Mass. At about halfway through my senior year, though, everything changed. I was depressed because I hadn't been able to succeed in the plans I'd made for myself. And so one night, I was walking by a grotto with a statue of Our Lady when I suddenly felt a call to kneel there and pray. It had been years since I had even tried to pray, but that night, I prayed from my heart for the first time, acknowledging that God was God and I was not. And from there, I slowly began to reclaim the faith that I had grown up with for my own. I began to read religious books and go to Mass and confession and to pray every day. And I chose to create new habits that would reorient my life from being self-centered to being God-centered. This was an uphill battle. And then in the last semester of my undergraduate studies, I stumbled upon a Sunday evening Mass where I discovered a choir all wearing white robes and singing what sounded like music from heaven. I was captivated and moved by it. And I kept coming back every week, recognizing that something about this music led me inevitably to thoughts of God. I was faced with the interior emptiness that came from directing my life towards satisfying my own desires. But the beauty of this worship pulled me outside of myself and directed me to look towards God for fulfillment. I began to learn about communities of men who devoted their whole lives to worshiping God through this kind of chanted prayer, and I fell in love with it. Through prayer, spiritual direction, and contact with monastic communities, I was eventually encouraged to enter a monastery. My spiritual director recommended the Benedictine monks of Norcia in Italy, and when I visited the monastery, I immediately felt at home. Most of the men there were Americans like me, and they came to Norcia, the birthplace of Saint Benedict, to consecrate their lives to God by chanting the Psalms, meditating on the Scriptures, and striving to pray constantly. In working, praying, and speaking with them, I felt myself to be among men who are pursuing the same goal of total orientation to Christ. The monks have accepted my request to join their community and are eager to have me begin formation. But due to the many financial burdens involved in establishing a new religious community in a foreign country, they are unable to take on the added expense of my student loans. I invite you to please help my Labouré classmates and myself to fulfill our call to serve. Your investment in vocations through the Labouré Society will help deliver us all. If you'd like to learn more, please contact me. Thank you.